Welcome, everyone. This is the 41st meeting of the 22nd Council, and it will come to order. Councilor Isaac Benton is excused for the night, so everybody be very polite to me. We're going to have a moment of silence, and then we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilor Gibson. Thank you, Councilor Gibson. Welcome, everybody, this evening. Civic Plaza parking passes are provided for members of the public. You can obtain a parking pass from councilor staff at the sign-up table. All the councilors should be coming in except for Councilor Benton. Again, we want tonight's proceedings to be as civil and respectful as possible, so please do not make any personal attacks. Please no applause or other outbursts during the meeting. The meeting will go a lot smoother if we're respectful to one another. So right now we're going to start with proclamations and presentations, and it is my pleasure to do the very first proclamation recognizing Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And here to accept the proclamation are Dr. John Kudish, she's the Director of Pediatric Oncology at UNM Hospital, Shanae Love with Children's Cancer Fund, Emma Davis, she is a cancer patient at UNM Hospital, and her parents are Ann and Jason Davis and brother Jacob. So everybody please come up to the microphone and I'll read the proclamation, and then I would love for you all to say a few words. Come right up here to the microphone, and then we're going to have you come in. And there's Emma. And the proclamation reads, whereas every September, America renews its commitment to curing childhood cancer and offers its support to the brave young children who are fighting the disease, whereas thousands are diagnosed with pediatric cancer each year and more than 100 from New Mexico, and whereas childhood cancer remains the leading cause of death by disease for American children under 15 years of age, and whereas for those children and their families and in memory of every young person lost to cancer, we reunite behind improved treatment, advanced research, brighter futures for young people. And whereas over the past few decades, great strides have been made in the fight against pediatric cancer, and whereas with significant advances in treatment over the last 30 years, the combined 5-year survival rate for children with cancer has increased to more than 20 percentage points, and whereas today a substantial portion of children diagnosed with cancer can anticipate a time when their illness will be in long-term remission or cured altogether, and whereas all children deserve the chance to dream, discover, and realize their full potential, and whereas this month we extend our support to young people fighting for that opportunity, and we recognize all who commit themselves to advancing the journey toward a cancer-free world, be it proclaimed that the Council, the governing body of the City of Albuquerque, hereby recognizes that September 2017 is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Thank you all for coming, and please say a few words.
Okay. I actually prepared something, because I'm always prepared. About 30 seconds, but thank you very much. My name's Jason Davis, and again, Ann, Jacob, and Emma, and I'll just read this very quickly. Distinguished members of the Albuquerque City Council, it is our honor to be with you today for this occasion. On this day, it is important to recognize a few simple but very important facts about childhood cancer. Worldwide, every 2 minutes, a child is diagnosed with cancer. In the U.S., more children are lost to childhood cancer than any other disease. In fact, more are lost than many other diseases combined. And only 4% of federal cancer research dollar goes to funding research specific to childhood cancer. This is unacceptable. These are my children, these are your children, these are all of our children. They are our future and they deserve better. So one of the most important ways to help and to facilitate change is to increase awareness, which you guys are doing today, and we thank you for that. Therefore, on behalf of our family and our daughter Emma, the Children's Cancer Fund of New Mexico, UNM, and all the families struggling to deal with this horrible disease, it is our honor and our privilege to accept the Albuquerque City Council's proclamation of September 2017 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Thank you.
I can only say there's not much I can add. But I want to thank again, you all, for recognizing the month of September as the Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. Again, since I started my training, survival went from 50% to close to 85% overall. And that's through a lot of work, through an effort of many institutions together across the world. But we wouldn't have been able to do it without really the participation in children in clinical cancer trials, such as Emma has been a part of. And really, it's to the credit of the children, the families, and the community that we've gone in that manner. But still, there's challenges, and the challenges to the families are immense. They're much, for me, it's incomprehensible, but that's why I'm dedicated to what I do. And I just thank you for recognizing this.
Thank you. Ms. Love?
I know Diana Truhecki wished she could have been here today, but we thank you so much for this proclamation because it honors the children that have passed on and it recognizes what everyone has said here today. So thank you so much.
Good. Well, thank you for being here. So come up so we can shake your hand. Thank you. Thank you, Councilor. We do have another proclamation. Councilor Sanchez and Councilor Pena.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I'd like to invite up at this time the individuals that are here to accept the proclamation. And we've got Adan Cariaga, I'm not sure if he is here. Oh, there he is. And Jennifer Weiss, who has been a real champion and advocate for this cause. Welcome.
Thank
And
you.
We'll have you say a few words once we are done here. The proclamation reads, whereas the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration is the agency within the United States Department of Health and Human Services that strives to reduce the impact of substance abuse and mental illness on American communities, and whereas National Recovery Month is a national observance held every September to educate Americans that substance use treatment and mental health services can enable those with a mental and/or substance use disorder to live a healthy and rewarding life. And whereas in 2016, Albuquerque Celebrates Recovery Events was the first celebration in Albuquerque with approximately 1,500 people participating throughout the day, finding resources for recovery, including family members seeking resources for loved ones, as well as numerous citizens in recovery homes, treatment programs, 12-step fellowship, faith-based recovery organizations, local methadone programs, and whereas the City of Albuquerque, Healing Addiction in Our Community, Wings for Life, Molina Healthcare, Presbyterian Health Plan, United Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Duke City Recovery, Toolbox, Bernalillo County, State of New Mexico, HSD, BHSD, and numerous other agencies have and continue to work together to help individuals who seek assistance with substance abuse and or mental health and our mental health find the recovery resources they need. And whereas 2017's annual Albuquerque Celebrates Recovery event will be celebrated at the Albuquerque Convention Center on September 28th, 2017 from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And
Whereas Albuquerque Celebrates Recovery is about celebrating each person's journey to find recovery by supporting those in recovery and to support those who love people in recovery. And whereas Albuquerque Celebrates Recovery's mission is to focus on acceptance, welcoming, and embracing all paths that lead to recovery while building strength in our communities. And whereas Recovery Month promotes the societal benefits of prevention, treatment, and recovery for mental and substance abuse disorders, celebrates people in recovery, lauds the contributions of treatment and service providers, and promotes the message that recovery in all its form is possible. And whereas Recovery Month spreads a positive message that behavioral health is essential to overall health, that prevention works, treatment is effective, and people can and do recover. Be it proclaimed that the council, the governing body of the city of Albuquerque, hereby recognizes September as National Recovery Month. Thank you for all your work, and I just really want to say, there really should be 10, 20 more people like you out there in the community doing the work. I mean, you really made a difference, and I know you're in the area that I represent in District 3, and I've heard from numerous people about all the positive work you're doing, so thank you, and thank you, Adan, I appreciate. Do you want to say a few?
Thank you. I'll talk, and then I think Adan has a few words that he'd like to say. But thank you, Councilor Sanchez and Councilor Pena. I appreciate your support with this proclamation, and for all the council members. The city has been a huge support for all of us and all of our efforts, and not only recognizing those that are in recovery, which is what this proclamation is for, but those who are currently struggling with addiction and those that have passed away. And so I really appreciate all the support that the city of Albuquerque and the council has provided to us over the years. Our event is the 28th of September, and we are celebrating those in recovery. So we're going to have over 50 different tables of resources and free food and a lot of entertainment and a lot of fun, just kind of celebrating those folks that have obtained what some folks deem as impossible, and that's recovery from drug and alcohol addiction. So I would encourage all of you to attend if you can. It's from 10 to 3. You can come anytime between those hours. And again, I appreciate all your support. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, council members, we had approached some of the staff at the city, and we said, wouldn't it be a brilliant idea that, since all we hear about really is about drug addicts that are using, people with mental health problems who are not seeking assistance, but we don't necessarily recognize the people who are in recovery. I recently went to a Narcotics Anonymous convention in March, and there was 4,000 people there. So there's a lot of people that's just one 12-step fellowship. And so there's many, many people in our community who are recovering, and we call them the anonymous people or the invisible people. Because once they get into recovery, we never hear about them again. We just hear about the ones that keep coming back over and over and over and over, and we think we're not making any progress, but a lot of progress is being made. So we decided to put an event together. Unlike other kind of health fairs where you have booths available and the agencies kind of network with each other and get to know each other and know where to refer back and forth, we decided to have an event where people who are struggling with addiction or with mental health problems can come to the event, or family members, and actually engage and ask and talk to the different providers that are there on how do we get admitted to your program with the support of the people who are in recovery. And so our speakers for the event are people in recovery and that type of thing. And we decided not to be exclusive, but to be inclusive. So we've included in our event medication management, people who are on Suboxone, people who are on methadone, the faith-based community, because the faith-based community really in the last couple of years I don't know if it's a New Mexico trend or if it's a national trend, but the faith-based community has really opened up a lot of recovery homes in the state of New Mexico in the past couple of years. And they also need to be a part of this. And so we said, a lot of times us professionally, sometimes with our own biases based on how we're trained or what we believe, can affect the outcomes of somebody's recovery. If I'm in a 12-step program, I'm discouraging them from going to a methadone clinic, am I hurting that person or helping them, right? So we all just want to work together and do our part, because we know there are cities in crisis, with the opioid epidemic and methamphetamine and DWI, all of it. And we want to do our part to engage more people into recovery, and we feel that the more people we can engage into recovery, just one less domestic violence occurs, one less car gets stolen, less house gets broken into. And so we want to be our part and be productive members of society. And I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I've been clean for 31 years. And I just have my heart in this, and want to thank the City Council, for all that you have done over the years to make recovery more available to our citizens. Thank you.
I have a couple of comments. Alon, I want to personally also thank you. I know you have been involved and engaged in helping many, many families for the past 31 years. I mean, you've committed your life to this cause, and I really appreciate it. We talk about bringing more police officers to the Albuquerque Police Department. We need that. But it's individuals like yourself and Jennifer that have dedicated their life to making lives better for so many families in our community. And Jennifer, I remember it seemed like only yesterday you were sitting here with your son's poster, because I know you lost your son to a drug overdose, and you've made a commitment to dedicate your life to this cause. And I'm really grateful that you've truly been a champion, and I've seen how far you've come in helping so many families also. But the two of you together have made a difference in Albuquerque, and it's not just the two of you, but it takes a village, and it takes many, many people in our community to make a difference. But the two of you are real champions here in Albuquerque, and I want to thank you for all of your work. And you can come and receive this proclamation.
Please come on up and get your proclamation. Thank you.
Jennifer, didn't give you the proclamation.
Great, thank you all very much. Now we're going to go to a presentation from the ADA Advisory Council. Karen Kushner and Terry O'Hara are here to present. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. My name is, you want to put that up on the camera? My name is Karen Kushner. I'm your chairman of the ADA Advisory Council for Albuquerque. I'm here with Council Member Terry O'Hare. She is the secretary of your ADA Advisory Council. And we're here, this is Garnet down here, large dog you may have seen. She is my service dog. We're here just to give you our yearly update, actually our first yearly update. We've been in service now for exactly 1 year, and we wanted to go over some things that we've done for the last year, and what our objectives and focus has been. For the last year, our focus has been meeting with the city departments to let them know that we're here and that we can be a resource. We wanted to build a positive working relationship, and that it supports the city, and it also is adequately representing the ADA community. Our next and probably most important reason for being is to represent the community, the ADA community within Albuquerque. The council members, we've worked really hard to try to understand the issues that the community has brought to us, and then to become a liaison for them with the city departments in different areas, council, the mayor's office. The third reason for being here is working with you, working with the mayor's office, and letting you know what the constituent issues are that are specific to the ADA infractions that have happened and ADA compliance that the city needs to work on. We've met with 18 of the 28 city departments this past year. Our focus in meeting with each department has been to introduce ourselves, to ask questions, and to ask them how they handle ADA-related issues as they apply to their departments. We also wanted to know if there were policies or procedures in place within the department for employees to follow, and for how they're trained on these procedures. We wanted to know if there was anybody in each separate department trained in ADA law in the realm of how to do business in Albuquerque, and be inclusive of that piece of the puzzle, which is the ADA community. We wanted to know how many persons with a disability actually worked in each department or were appointed by the many city different boards. The reason for that question, although it may seem intrusive, was that we wanted to gain insight on how much they knew about the ADA community and what a person with a disability encounters in their daily life. Again, the reasoning for the question was that maybe the department directors to include the ADA community in their processes and not have the ADA community as an afterthought. Many projects within the city are far past the planning and development stage before anyone considers the ADA access issues. Representing the ADA community, each and every meeting is open to the public, and we welcome everyone inclusively. Many of our meetings have become and are attended by individuals seeking resolutions to ongoing problems or to learn more about what we do. The ADA Council has had the opportunity to listen to constituents and their issues and to help resolve the issues if possible. The ADA Council would then contact the departments involved and begin the resolution process. At times, our council would be able to help put the constituent in touch with the right person for that problem. And at other times, the council would learn about the process and procedures involved in the decision-making or the why of the problem. We would then pass this information along to a constituent as a possible resolution to their issue. Working with City Council and the Mayor's Office. During our first year, we have reported back to City Council on an informal basis. Our goal is to send you quarterly updates on the issues that we have brought to our attention and the resolution or lack of a resolution thereof. It is important for us to keep the City Council and the Mayor's Office informed of the ADA community input and to work together to improve ADA access and issue resolution. A few of the current ADA issues that we're working on right now is with the Aviation Department, the access for persons with disabilities from the moment they're dropped off till they get through security and on in through the sterile area. The Transit Department, listening to issues with ABQ Ride and the Sun Van, also service animal issues. The IT Department, working to get our website for our specific group up and running. Also, screen reader issues that we've had, hiring application issues that have come up, problems with applications that maybe are not accessible for the blind. So those kind of things. And then lastly, our last issue is appointment of new members to our council, and so that we can have a full quorum at every single meeting and be productive. So in conclusion, for our first year, the city departments representing the community and working with you and the mayor's office has been our focus. For our second full year of volunteer service to the city begins, we would continue to work hard and be available to work collaboratively with the ADA community and the city. It is our commitment to work for a long-term improvement in access and daily living for the ADA community. This process should be integrated seamlessly within all facets of the city of Albuquerque, from planning to engineering to final work processes in order to make our city a welcoming and inclusive place for the ADA community. And I'd like to thank you for the opportunity tonight to address you, and also for the opportunity to serve on this council. If you have any questions of me or of Terry, of course you can email them to us. And then I'll defer to Terry. She can better explain the graphics for you.
Or if you have a question in person for Karen, she's here right now. No questions.
Excuse me, I have one question, Mr. Vice President. My question, has the committee met and talked to Transit regarding the new ART project and accessibility for the disabled?
Yes, we have. We have had numerous meetings with the transit director, also with persons that have had issues with art, with accessibilities. We've, actually Terry can speak more to that because she's actually gone out to the platforms, looked at, width of the sidewalk, access to and from, the safety. So she could probably better tell you that, but yes, we've met numerous times.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Councilor Pena.
I just really want to thank you for all your work. I really appreciate what you've been doing. I know, I've actually gotten some positive feedback in terms of the ADA Council and some of the questions I've asked for the sun ban and other issues. I agree with you. I think to have a better representation of people who are disabled, we need to start appointing people to these boards and commissions that we have because, providing that input and knowing that we're kind of a little bit behind the ball in terms of getting up to par as to where we need to be as the city of Albuquerque, I think it's going to be important moving forward. So thanks for your work. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments from the councilors? Ms. O'Hara, anything else?
I wanted to just go over a little bit the graphic sheet that you guys have all been given. And basically, it kind of dovetails into what Karen's been speaking about. We did find, I went through all of our meeting minutes and I found out what issues we dealt with the most. And it was definitely transit access. We dealt with everything from buses and paratransit. We're finding that people that have paratransit issues are coming to our council meetings also, even though there is a paratransit city board. So, that's just a fact. And we're experiencing several people coming, talking about issues with their service animals on the buses. So, we just feel that that's something to highlight. But 11 of our biggest, most consistent issues have been items and issues affecting riders of paratransit, sunvan, and transit. For a small board that just started, we were kind of surprised by the numbers that we had met with 18 city departments out of 28. We hit the ground running, and we just kept inviting people to our meetings, and they kept showing up. So they were accepting invitations. And we would definitely love for all of you to come, as you can, or your policy analysts. We definitely love to get people coming in the door. It helps us understand what's important. We had to identify that we've had 4 folks with service dogs come to our meetings, so we definitely want to include that. And on the back of the sheet, it really lists the detail. When something was only discussed once, I left it off, but there was an awful lot of those. So I tried to go 2 and up, and you can see for yourself. We've talked about everything from the NMDOT ADA transition plan, which is not the same as a city transition plan. The NMDOT plan only looks at curbs and sidewalks. An entire city transition plan looks at facilities and services within the city as a whole, just to let you know that. We've also had a consistent problem with getting answers from the administration regarding membership applications. I think I mentioned this to the Finance Committee many months ago, and it hasn't improved. In fact, it's gotten worse. So that's a not, in the midst of positive things that we're doing, that continues to delay us, and we hope that that has been resolved a little bit with 2 new members being appointed. But it took, one gentleman died waiting to get on our board. So people with disabilities often have, physical issues that can go either way. Sometimes too, we'll find out about a project coming up like Civic Access. DPS is redoing the area where the fountains used to be. And there was a 2nd floor area that they're building, and in order to make sure that that 2nd floor is accessible, we got involved in a few meetings with them and found out that we have a 60-foot long straight ramp. Because of the configuration of the parking below that, there was really no other way for them to do it, but we'd really hoped for a different solution. But we're working. Those designers that do work with the city and planners, it's really good to involve us at the beginning, just so we can, say, hey, did you think of that? And they can always, certainly they can choose not to do anything. We don't have any kind of enforcement capability, but I find that design staff and planning staff really love to hear, of a different way to approach a project. So it's something to think about. when you know things are going on. But I won't go and discuss all of these. You guys can read them, but just want to thank you again. I believe the first time I rolled in this room was about the Bosque Trail, and it led to us forming this ADA committee, and that's a good thing. We still have issues with the Bosque Trail, but we're here and we're not going anywhere, so it's good. Anyway, thank you guys so much.
Any other questions, comments from the council? Thank you all very much. Appreciate
Thank
the
you very much.
presentation. Councilors, now we're going to go to the presentation from Gerald Romero, Budget Officer, regarding the latest GRT report. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President and members of the council. I have some hard copies. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Okay, the city received our GRT distribution on September 15th, 2017. This is a July activity that is accrued for August, so this is our second month in fiscal year 18. The month-over-month growth for August was 1.1%, so it was positive. If you'll recall, July we had a very strong month of 5.9%, so the two together bring us cumulatively to 3.6% growth. So that's trending above our 3% projection for the budget. We'd like to keep it at 3 to 4%. 4% would probably dig us out of that $3 million hole that we started the year with because of the lower base. So it's trending in the right direction.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments? Councilor Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. I think you know what I'm going to ask, right?
I do.
So for folks who are watching on TV or here in the chambers who might not know, very interested to look at the sort of the combo of all the fees and grants and other tax revenues to see how fiscal year 17 actually ended. Was it fiscal year 17 just ended? Yep. Versus, because that kind of goes into how far we might be upside down right now.
Mr. Vice President and Councilor Harris, that's correct. Fiscal year 17, we ended on June 30th. We won't have numbers that I'm comfortable sharing probably until mid to late October. So hopefully something, maybe next GRT report when I'm up here. What I can tell you is we did have very strong numbers in some of these areas that I know won't change. You know, as the numbers go to the auditors, there might be adjustments, but gross receipts tax, we know what that distribution is. It's probably going to hold. Property tax is the same. Property tax was down a bit. Franchise fees overall, those are fees we charge for use of our right-of-way for gas, for electricity, for cable. Those cumulatively were down about $250,000. I think I may have mentioned in the last meeting that receipts at the biopark were down cumulatively over $300,000. But we did have some very good news with building permits. Building permits overall were up probably over 800,000. So a lot of those just sort of offset one another. I think at the end of the day, if I had to guess right now, I'd say we're still going to be short that gross receipts tax if the other revenues all sort of the ups offset the downs. So, but I hope to have more information for you with the October distribution.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilor Sanchez.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. My question would be, you said that we have a $3 million deficit that we are carrying forward. Was there any carry forward at all this last fiscal year to the next 18 year? And if so, what was the amount or what was the projected amount?
Mr. Vice President, Councilor Sanchez, we had revised the 17 revenues to be about $515 million. And so I think, like I said, if everything else sort of holds the way we think it will, we'll probably end the year with 17 revenues being about $512 million. So they'll still be short $3 million. In terms of the reversions on the expense side, those are looking better right now with preliminary numbers. So we still have all the accruals posting to the right fiscal year. We've got some commitments or encumbrances, as we call them, that departments are going to need appropriations for in the current year if they didn't finish out those contracts. And so that'll soak up some of that reversion, but the reversions on the expense side as we close 17 are looking better.
So they are looking better. When will we have those numbers?
We should have the fund probably turned into the auditors late October. So we probably can share some of those numbers with you at that time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Romero. Appreciate it. Now we're going to go to economic development discussion. Mr. Bob Walton will give a brief presentation regarding the existing business development plan program. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Vice President Winter and councilors, and thanks for having me here. It's been a couple of years since I had a chance to update you on this program. The good news, it's working really well, and we have some really good success stories for you. So, yeah, this is AED's existing business development program, and it's all about jobs. You know, jobs fix a lot of stuff. You just heard some good news on the GRT, and so I hopefully have some more good news for you. Like I say, more jobs is what we need. So in 2002, God, that was 15 years ago, I joined AED. My background, I was a manufacturing executive with companies like John Deere, Allied Signal, and Honeywell, and I put plants up internationally for them. And so, but I retired from that and went to work for AED, and at that time, we felt what we needed to do is not only recruit companies, which we were successful at, but we needed to help local businesses. Enough of that wasn't being done. So we started doing that. So the same incentives that we use to recruit companies to town and the same programs can be used for our local existing businesses, and people just didn't know that. In fact, a lot of people still don't know that, and we need to spread the word out there. Our focus is on economic-based businesses. Economic-based businesses are companies that have more than half their revenues coming in from outside the state. State incentives work towards economic-based businesses. What the state's trying to do is reward companies that are growing the economy by bringing in fresh dollars as opposed to just rotating the money. So New Mexico is a great place to start and to grow a business. We have the best tax environment for manufacturing from all states, from Texas, including Texas, all the way to the West Coast. We have the best tax, and this is due to the legislature and the laws that they had passed, the tax laws. And so we like to say that we are the best in the West. A lot of people don't know that, but we're in really good shape there. So our problem that we find out is not a lack of incentives or not a lack of programs. The problem is getting the word out. People don't know, the companies we visit don't know that they have all these programs out there to help them. So our team has assisted 1,800 companies since 2002. 1,800 companies. And we have something for everybody. It's rarely that we ever visit a company that we don't have something for. So our team that we have is talented and seasoned, and some of us a little more seasoned than others, but anyway, talented and seasoned. And in 2005, I was taking Mario Chavez out to visit companies. He was very interested in visiting the companies I was working with. He loved the program so much, he took funding out of the Albuquerque Economic Development Department budget and to fund, at that time, Dennis Houston, who became a part-time contractor for us. Dennis's background, he's a financial expert. He was CFO for Enviroco, K-Tech, and General Technologies. And right now he's a business intermediary for buying and selling business. And Dennis has joined me tonight. Stand. I get the low-hanging fruit. Dennis gets the high fruit. Okay, so anyway, 2 years ago, we received funding from the EDAC program. Do you all know what EDAC is? Okay, from the EDAC program. And that was to get two more contractors on to help us spread the word. And we hired on Heidi Holly. She was in management for Chrysler in Austria and in the United States. And then she was the procurement manager for Shot Solar when they came to town. And right now she's executive coach and business consultant. So she has a great background. And then also Wendy Ederer. She owned an environmental engineering company. She started the federal PTAP program, which I'll mention in just a few minutes as what that program is. And she's presently president of Cornerstone Consulting. They do consulting for Albuquerque and for Rio Rancho, and she works a lot with the Pueblos. So Through the funding that we've been getting from the city, going all the way back to Dennis, we've been able to increase the number of companies we call on from 70 a year to 170 a year, 150% increase. And we really do appreciate you for doing that. So we provide assistance in 4 areas: the incentives, the financial, we have partners that we've developed, and then business to business. Our business to business is really unique, and I'll have just a few words on that in a minute here. Now, incentives, it would take me an hour sitting with you going through all the incentives that are available. By the way, if anybody ever wants to see all the programs that are out there, I'd love to sit down with you and for an hour. And this is all stuff for your constituents, and we'd love to be calling and helping out your constituents. So if you know what's out there, it would help. So JTIP is the Job Training Incentive Program. That's the program that the state has that when you hire a new employee, you can get a 50% reimbursement on that employee's wage for up to 6 months. A lot of folks don't know that. We've assisted 469 companies in that program, and that's resulted in $74 million in reimbursements, cash reimbursements to our local businesses, not recruited companies. These are local companies we're working at, $74 million. And that's resulted in 11,000 new jobs. Now, the only jobs we track are the JTIP jobs because they do that for us, but you can probably multiply that by 2 or 3 in the number of jobs that we've been able to work with companies on getting. So the ROI on that, you know, you wonder what's the ROI on $74 million, but it's $374 million in new payroll calculated only in the first year of that job. So 74 has turned into $374 million in new payroll. Financial, back in 2008 when the economy was going south, about 70% of our clients were having financial problems. And by the way, about 90% of the clients we work with are referrals. So some people do know we're out there, and people like you can and we hear once in a while from folks, from counselors that they need some assistance with a company, and we go out and help them. So Dennis already had a lot of knowledge on banks from his background, but what happened is we became very knowledgeable in the alternative lenders that are out there, and there's quite a few of them. And these are folks that aren't quite bankable, and so we're successful there. The partners, so as our clients had issues and we weren't able to answer them, we'd go out and search an organization or someone that could help them out, and we've developed about 30 partners that help our companies. People like MEP, the Manufacturing Extension Partnership, that's a federally funded program that they'll help a company increase their productivity, do 6 Sigma training, ISO 9000 training, logistics, things of that nature. PTAP, I mentioned PTAP, Procurement Technical Assistance Program. It's a federal program, and Wendy started that from our staff when she came to the state. And basically what it does is it helps companies get business with governments, local, federal, and state governments. And they basically show you where to look for contracts, how to put a contract together, and they actually walk you through the first contract that you get. That's a great program. And then, of course, our most important partner is the City of Albuquerque's Economic Development Department. You know, working with Gary Opedal, Deirdre Firth, and Dora Dominguez, who's here tonight. Hey, Dora. Thanks for helping us. So the last thing I want to talk about is business to business, and here's where we're really unique. I don't think anybody else in town is doing what we do when it comes to business. We have these 1,800 clients that we've worked with. We know what their capabilities are. We go into other companies that are producing parts that are using components that we can get from people in town rather than out of state. This is resulting in millions and millions of dollars of services and components and things that we can get in state. Just a couple examples. Flagship Foods, you all know about them. Well, when they came to town, one of our clients was Foods of New Mexico. Flagship was going to buy their tortillas from their supplier in California. We put them together with Foods of New Mexico. The first contract was like $5 million, and I think it's gone beyond that. Foods of New Mexico now has had to get another facility. Lumidyne, a technology company in the Delta Group, they do electronic assembly. That turned into millions of dollars that we're keeping right here in the state by doing that. And lastly, Tempur-Pedic. Who's been to the Tempur-Pedic plant? So you know that's a high technology plant. You wouldn't think making mattresses like that, but it's all technology. They were having their machines re-engineered and improved and added to by a company out of Duffield, Virginia. Duffield is where the parent company is. We put them in touch with a local engineering company that designs and builds their improvements to their equipment today. So we brought that in from Duffield, and that's being done here. Anyway, we have a whole list. I'd love to do it sometimes. Thanks for your support. We have programs to grow the business. What we need to do is get the word out. And by funding us, you're helping us get the word out.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions?
I'm
Yes,
gonna
Councilor
breathe.
Pena.
So you've been receiving funding for 2 years you've been around?
We started in 2000. Oh, no, the program goes back to 2002.
2002.
15 years, yeah.
So in the last 2 years, how many businesses or companies have you supported or brought to Albuquerque?
We're, oh, no, I'm talking about existing businesses.
Oh, existing
Yeah,
businesses?
I used to recruit, and then my passion and now is I just work with the local businesses, you know. Recruitment gets you know, that's a sexy thing, okay? Helping local companies isn't so. But the easiest way to grow the economy is to help your local businesses. I think nationally, 70% of the growth of a community is from local businesses. And so AED found the need to focus on that.
So how many businesses in the last couple of years
Have we
you
helped?
supported?
It would be about 350.
350?
Yeah, we're up to about 170 a year. And when I was doing it myself, I was doing 70.
Okay. What are some of the names of the businesses?
Wow.
I'm just curious.
Oh, sure. Hey, Dennis.
Councilor Pena. we've gotta
But
move
no,
on.
yeah, my gosh, you know, like say Luminine and God, you got me on the spot. I'd have to come up with 170 names for you
Just a
right now.
couple, I was just wondering, so.
Yeah, they're mainly manufacturing companies, okay? They're mainly, like P4Q, P4Q makes the device, you know, when you put your foot underneath the tailgate of your Mercedes and the lid
Yeah,
goes up?
I was just wondering names,
Yeah.
just for,
Yeah.
but thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councilor Sanchez?
I just have a quick comment. You know, I believe that, and I've said that to Mr. Opadello in the Economic Development Department, that we cannot forget our existing businesses. It's critically important that we keep that fiber and the foundation of what's made our community grow over the years. You know, we look at the big corporations and the big companies, but I'm glad that we have not forgot about existing businesses because we need to keep those businesses going to help keep our economy growing.
And
Thank you.
these are some big numbers they're generating.
Right.
They're
Yes.
impressive numbers.
Any
Thank
other
you.
questions, councilors? Okay, thank you. We're going to move on. Thank you, sir, for the
Councilor
presentation.
Pena, I'm going to send you a list of companies.
Councilors, we're going to move to administration
Thank you.
questions and answer. Any questions for the administration? I see no hands. Thank you, councilors. We're going to move on to the journal. I move approval of the September 6th journal. I have a motion second. Any discussion or comments on the September 6th journal? All in favor signify by saying yes. All opposed, that passes unanimously. Move to communications and introductions. Are there any changes to the letter of introduction? I'll move to Councilor Jones first.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. There will be a land use planning and zoning.
No, this is,
Sorry, communications.
057.
Wrong one, sorry. Move that the rules be suspended for the purpose of introducing 057 and referring it to the Finance and Government Operations Committee. 057 is creating a gross receipts investment policy.
Thank you. We have a motion to second to suspend the rules for O-57 and send it to Finance and Government Operations. Any other discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Councilor Jones, O-58.
Thank you. Move that the rules be suspended for the purpose of introducing 058 and referring it to the Finance and Government Operations Committee. 058 is relating to the Local Economic Development Act plan of the city.
Thank you. We have a motion to second on O-58 to suspend the rules and move it to Finance and Government Operations Committee. Any discussion or comments? Okay, all in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. That moves, I'm carrying for Councilor Benton. I move that the rules be suspended for the purpose of placing R-241 on tonight's agenda for final action. R-241 is concerning the appointment of precinct boards for each polling place for the regular municipal election to be held in the city of Albuquerque on Tuesday, October 3rd. Do I have a second? So I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules for R-251. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes. All opposed, that passes unanimously. I move approval of the letter of introduction. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion or comments on the letter of introduction? All in favor signify by saying yes. All opposed, that passes unanimously. That moves us to reports of committee. Councilor Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well done. The Finance and Government Operations Committee met on Monday, September 11th, and reported out the following items. In the matter of all these things, EC 339, 340, 341, 342, 360, 361, 362, 376, 377, 378, 380, 381, 402, and OC 31, that receipt be noted. In the matter of ECs 387, 389, and 410, that they be approved. In the matter of 052, 56, R220, 221, 223, and 226, that they do pass. And in the matter of EC 384 and 391, that they be approved and be acted on at the meeting at which they are reported. In the matter of 051, that it do pass as substituted. And in the matter of R237, that it do pass and be acted on at the meeting at which it is reported. Make a motion to accept this committee report.
Thank you, Councilor. We have a motion and a second to accept the Finance Committee report. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. We'll move it to Councilor Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The Land Use Planning and Zoning Committee met on Wednesday, September 13th, 2017, and reports out the following item. In the matter of R203, that it do pass as amended. I make a motion to accept the committee report.
Thank you, Councilor Jones. We have a motion and a second to accept the committee report. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, that passes unanimously, and that takes us to deferrals and withdrawals. Councilors, does anybody, any deferrals or withdrawals at this time? Start with Councilor Winter, myself. La Mesa Alley Vacation, Bob Lup's agent for Sergio and Azucena Valles request vacation of public right-of-way. I move deferral until October 4th. I have a motion and a second for EC-373. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes. Yes. All opposed, that passes unanimously. I move to Councilor Harris Sanchez from final actions.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I move 045, amending chapters 1 and 2 of the revised ordinances of Albuquerque to add a new article and new subsection respectively, et cetera. I move a deferral until November 20th.
We have a motion and a second for 0-45 on a deferral to November 20th. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Councilor Harris, R-177.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I move a deferral of R-177. I move a deferral until October 16th.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second of a deferral on for substitute R-177 until October 16th. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed. That passes unanimously. And then I will carry this for Councilor Benton. This is O-32, subject to voter approval, imposing a municipal gasoline tax of 2 cents per gallon, dedicating the revenue generated by the municipal gasoline tax to rehabilitation of transportation systems for the benefit of the city. I move deferral until November 20th.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Are there any discussion or comments on O-32? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. I'll move for Councilor Benton. I'll move this R-233. This is establishing no new recognized or non-recognized neighborhood associations shall be created under the existing neighborhood association recognition ordinance unless in compliance with certain interim procedures while the neighborhood association recognition ordinance is updated. Move deferral until October 4th.
Second.
I have a motion and a second of a deferral on R-233 till October 4th. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed. Thank you, Counselor. That brings us to the consent agenda. Are there any changes to the consent agenda? Okay, Counselors, I move approval of the consent agenda. Have a motion and second. Any discussion or comments? All in favor signify by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed. That passes unanimously. Thank you, Counselors. That moves us to general public comments. There will be a 2-minute time limit. The light on the podium will be green for the first minute and a half. Then a bell will ring and the light will turn yellow, indicating you have 30 seconds remaining to wrap up your comments. So please, at 2 minutes, the light will turn red. So please, hopefully, you'll be finished with your comments. Thank you, Counselors. We're going to start, and we'll start with Mr. Schrader. Welcome.
I would not watch most movies, even if I were paid. Most movies are a stupid waste of time, talent, and money. Most movies are saturated with glamorized murder, money addiction, rape, robbery, booze, revenge, or war. Why would adults who damn violence on our streets enjoy watching movie violence for entertainment? Regardless of how many jobs and dollars, most movies made in New Mexico are nothing to celebrate. Spiritually, they are crap. Sadly, most actors sell their talent with little or no conscience about how violent or how shallow the movie is. If the pay is high enough, most actors will take the role regardless of the movie's poison message. Why should actors make more money than farm workers in the hot sun harvesting fruit and vegetables to feed us? I compliment movies about forgiveness, about enemies becoming friends, about working for justice. I compliment movies about celebrating nature, growing food, changing how we live to slow climate change, enjoying living simply. I compliment movies about natural health, naked body freedom, passionate romance between Juliet and Romeo, or Judy and Juliet, or Romeo and Roger. I treasure certain movies that move me deeply to tears and to good action. Imagine if Breaking Bad had instead been Breaking Free, about meth users and dealers breaking free from meth.
Thank you very much. Next speaker is Anand Naren, followed by Christy Hoyd. Please hold your applause. Anand? Oh, yes. Sir, welcome.
Believe me, I'm not drunk. I had a stroke recently, and I walk a little tipsy. Here.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Council, for allowing me to speak. I am a local artist and performer with a goose. Yes, a goose. And I've been 22 years in Albuquerque. I've been an artist all my life. I worked with the disabled before I retired, doing art programs. Now I work with the homeless, who are my friends at Art Street and also Off-Center Community Art Studio. I am here because I am concerned about my freedom. I'm born in America, and I'm really quite proud of it. And I am told at this time who I can feed among the pigeons. I feed birds of all kinds. I never ask for ID or identification. And I love the homeless. They are our brothers, our mothers, our friends. They are not aliens. And I was incredibly, I heard that there is in the plans a citation for giving money to the homeless on the streets. So I am told who I can feed, and now possibly who I can give money to. This is too much. Fascism comes in small doses. It doesn't come in a big package. And I am not going to be controlled by such observances. Where is the compassion? Where is the love? And where is the recognition of beauty? Have you seen the magenta and the emerald green on pigeons when they take a bath in the rain?
Thank you, sir. Your 2 minutes is
Thank
up.
you.
Appreciate the message.
Thank
you
you
for coming down. Christy Hoyd, welcome, followed by Mr. Civil D'Angelo. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you. My name is Chris Howd. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. HUD's recent request for an additional $3 million repayment from the city's Community Development Block Grant Program following the Federal Inspector General audit findings of noncompliance with HUD requirements is deeply unsettling. Failure to comply with HUD requirements, onerous that they may be, puts Albuquerque at risk for losing millions of federal dollars directed for affordable housing. Perhaps an opportunity exists for the city to partner with the University of New Mexico's MBA program to help the Family and Community Services Department comply with the CDBG program requirements. Without being super critical of Department Director Douglas Chapin, I ask the council that you request that the city comply with these program requirements going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Silvio Delangelo, welcome.
Can you put that up, please? Can you line that up? I'm going to ask the TV people before I start to make sure that stays on for at least 30 seconds on TV. Thank you. Council President, council members, this presentation on the overhead is a message to all voters, not you. You have betrayed and disrespected us and has enabled your mayor to ruin this city since he was elected in 2009, primarily because of your actions or inactions and help from his journal enablers. Few, if any, ever now come to the council meeting because you don't really give a damn what we say. You suppress our freedoms of expression, insult speakers like Tad, who's here, like Art, who's here, Simon, Tony, Dinah, Charlie, me, and many others. You also disrespect our American flag as if it's just a protest sign or banner when it's being held upside down. You ought to watch the Vietnam series on PBS and find out what we went through. You know that this is a U.S. flag code approved signal of people are now in dire distress because of traitors like you, like your mayor, and like others in this criminal enterprise, and it is a criminal enterprise, that you have made Albuquerque the disgrace of the nation. It's time for payback, rejection of all of you by we voters who still believe in honest government. We can start in October by throwing 5 of you out of office, and in the following years reject the rest of you. You have really been part of the problem. And the mayors, the people that are running for mayor, if they don't think that the council is an integral part of the disgraceful situation that we have found ourselves in, then they're missing the boat. And I'm wondering, acting council president, if I put my flag up again, will you have your Gestapo take it down? Why don't you take a survey of that? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for being here. Mr. Tad Neminski, followed by Mr. Simon Polakowski. Polakowski, sorry, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, and thank you. My name is Ted Neminski. Yes, you are disgracing people who voted you in. Now, time is come now. All politicians elected right here. City Council, I'm talking to you. You should be out. Let people vote, know that what they're doing. let people study. Anyway, election around the corner. Now another group wanted to be mayor. Well, Tim Keller, how sweet, loving guy. How, well, with Harvard degree. Well, such liberal. He make it any difference? No. He will make it same thing. That's what he, now let's this conservative candidate for mayor stand up and speak up to truth. I'm just sick and tired being ignored. Come on, conservative people, stand up. Get this liberal. Doesn't matter if they're Democrats or the Republicans. They're all playing same game. They are for big government, bigger and bigger. They are for the very wealthy, but not for the people who put you in the office. They are against the small businesses. More regulation.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Simon Polakowski, followed by Mr. Art Tannenbaum. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. It took me a long time to learn my name also, so it's quite all right.
I apologize.
I don't blame you for that. This is my going away present to Head of Security Mark Shepard. So it's a fig leaf, so he can hide behind and hopefully not cost the city $200,000 at a whack. Council President, Acting Council President, Council. It's been quite a learning experience coming here all these years. Again, 2 minutes is not enough for people to bring their concerns in front of the public. There has to be another venue where people can bring their concerns and talk about what they think is right and what is wrong. And this used to be possible when we had public access station. Anyone and everyone was welcome from the whole spectrum. And it's true, as Mr. Delangelo said, people have become totally and absolutely, they don't care. 8% voted in the last mayoral election. In the Soviet Union, 99% of the people voted for the leader. Here, 92% don't vote. That's only a 7% difference. What's going on? Tyranny, a man comes up here and talks about tyranny. Ignorance and apathy are the two allow tyranny to happen. And we've allowed we hear our public all the time, lack of education and lack of engagement. And we need to engage people, and we need people to know what's really going on. And it's just terrible. And doesn't seem to be getting worse. I don't blame you for the current malaise. You're only human beings. But I do blame council for its not allowing dissent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Art Tannenbaum, followed by Paul Ryan McKinney. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for your help. I don't care. The one that has my name. Thank you. As you'll see displayed, I signed up. My name is Arthur Tannenbaum. You all know me as Art. My name is Arthur Tannenbaum, born in the USA. It's true, you have disrespected us and betrayed us, either through your inaction or your action. Where is everyone? Where is Isaac Benson? Where is everyone? You know, your clampdown on freedom of expression has gone way too far. Nice wall you have here. This wall is really symbolic. Who decided to erect this wall 3 years ago? Who paid for the wall? Who paid for it? The taxpayers paid for it. Who decided to erect this wall? So, Mr. Winter, at the special July meeting, you were very crafty with your words. You said, I think we work pretty well with the public. Sandwiched in between, you're twice having said, oh, well, there's always going to be unintended consequences involved with any legislation. As though unintended consequences, if you screw up, it's not your fault, you didn't screw up intentionally. Well, you didn't not screw up intentionally, and you screwed up at the special meeting in July. The disorderly conduct. You know, you're going through the journal and the procedures here. I keep bringing up the disorderly conduct of the Albuquerque City Council. The members of the council are unruly and disorderly. Just like this evening, when you started speeding things up, things got confused. Anyway, I don't know what to say to you people. I've tried to persuade you. I've tried to appeal to your ethical sensibilities. I've come to the conclusion that local legislators are good for nothing.
Thank you, sir. Your time's up.
I know.
Mr. Delangelo, I'm going to give you a warning that you cannot have any flag, any banners up. So this is your first warning to remove it.
That's his constitutional rights.
Why don't you give me the second?
Sir, okay, I'll go ahead and give you your second to please remove it. If you don't take it down, Mr. Delangelo, you're going to have to leave the the chambers. Mr.
Give me the third one.
Do you get 3 warnings? You only get 2, Mr. Delangelo.
Did you ever wonder where the people are and what they're doing who aren't here? The tons of people who used to come to your meetings? You ever think about that?
Mr. Delangelo, are you going to move the banner?
No, I'm not.
Then you're going to have to leave. We're going to take a short recess. Thank you.